Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go. Woo!
All right, we're going to get into this injury report here that the Vikings put out. That's there's more names and DNPs on here than are comfortable for Vikings fans with another game coming up here on Sunday night. But Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department joins us for some information, some speculation about the Minnesota Vikings, presented in part by Awaken 180 Doogs. Tell them.
Absolutely, Phil. Happy Reckless Speculation Thursday. Trying my best, at least for me, trying to make this a September to remember. Well, guess what? Off to a phenomenal start because I am down now 10 pounds in a week and a half. Thanks to Awaken 180. No medications, no workouts required, no fasting. Heck, they sent me 80% of the products I need to consume on a daily basis. Their vanilla shakes are fantastic. Had a protein bar this morning for breakfast. Really, really good. It's just about making sensible decisions, but I needed that guidance. I need direction. Awaken 180 provides all of that direction. Weekly phone calls with my guidance counselor, Patrick. Those are fantastic. He lays out meal by meal what exactly I need to do. It takes the thinking out of play. And the app is fantastic. So late last night, I pick up Doogie. His 9th grade football team got waxed at Woodbury. Hey, kudos to Woodbury. That's one heck of a 9th grade football team I saw. But from Woodbury across the metro, by the time I got Doogie last night at his high school, it was late. We stopped by Chipotle. Yes, I can have Chipotle, a part of Awaken 180. It's just about, hey, the chicken bowl I had a month ago compared to the chicken bowl now, just a little bit different, right? But still tasted fantastic. I just needed all that direction. Awaken 180 is absolutely working. It's about thinking about the next 10 years for me, 20 years, hopefully 30 years, needing to shed some weight, having more energy. Well, so far, so good. It absolutely works. Awaken 180. The website is awaken180weightloss.com. Again, awaken180weightloss.com. I am proof it absolutely works.
Love it. Love it. So let's dive into the injury report here. There's a lot of really good players on here that did not practice on Wednesday for the Vikings. Well, Jeff Okudah with the concussion at the end of the game. Van Ginkel's in concussion protocol. Josh Oliver, ankle. Ryan Kelly, toe. Ty Chandler, knee. Blake Cashman, hamstring. We saw that. And then there's other guys limited. And so Darrisaw, full. But start wherever you want on this loaded injury report here, Dukes.
Well, I will start with Blake Cashman. We will find out in the next, probably by Saturday, late afternoon, whether he gets put on short-term IR. It's absolutely a multiple-week type setback. Like, he's not playing against the Bengals on September 21st. The question is, can he come back before the 4 weeks? But the possibility of short-term injured reserve is very much in play. So super, super unfortunate. I can tell you from being in the locker room on Wednesday, was having a conversation with Isaiah Rodgers. Jeff Okudah walked by and Isaiah stopped his and I back and forth, just goes, "Hey, Jeff, I love you." Jeff goes, "Thanks, Isaiah. Love you too." Right? So Jeff Okudah was in good spirits in the locker room. Not like he's in a dark room. Yes, he's in the protocol, but seeing him with my own two eyes, he looked to be at least okay. Andrew Van Ginkel, I did not spot in the locker room on Wednesday. Ty Chandler, that's going to be a multi-week setback. Hey, credit to him. Takes back the kickoff that had to be returned, adrenaline kicking in, but Ty Chandler with the knee, that's going to be some time. I would say Christian Darrisaw, I still lean that he comes back on Sunday. He was so close on Monday. Now, did learn, maybe this was out there previously, but I found out for the first time on Wednesday that they made the determination before he went out on the Soldier Field pregame Monday that he was going to miss the game. So, yeah, it was easy to speculate, hey, that field, bad condition. Okay, did that play a part in the Darrisaw decision. Now, hey, maybe they knew hours and hours prior the field wasn't going to be great, but they made that decision before 5 p.m. on Monday night. But he's close. And hey, there's a reason why he didn't start the season on short-term IR. So there's a thought. And hey, if you're bringing Darrisaw back, is it really week 3 against Trey Hendrickson or week 4 against Myles Garrett? I just think Sunday makes a lot of sense for Christian Darrisaw's return. Harrison Smith held court very, very briefly at the end of open locker room on Wednesday, confirmed it's a physical ailment, nothing along the lines of mental health, something we've alluded to for weeks. And he said, hey, it's fluid heading into week 2, but also, hey, like if this was going to be a 3 or 4 week setback, you also put him on short-term IR. Well, they did not put him on short-term IR. So Harrison Smith trending in the right direction. I guess I would not be shocked if he plays on Sunday.
Back to Blake Cashman being out, and I think the Vikings look very astute now. So Cashman, the one thing is he's a good player, but he misses time. He missed, a couple games last season. He missed a couple games.
Yeah, and they lost those
the
games
before.
last year. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you can't count on him being healthy for an entire season. Unfortunately, he gets hurt in week 1. But the very astute move now, Eric Wilson signing, because this is what they didn't have last year. They did not have a guy that I think they felt completely comfortable putting the green dot on his helmet, a veteran guy. Ivan Pace he's a nice player, and against the run, he can be pretty effective. Against the pass, he isn't. But if you look at Eric Wilson's resume, not only starting here with Zimmer, but then going through like a year ago with the Packers, like this is an under the radar savvy depth move that's going to pay off, I think, starting in week 2, and paid off heck on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Wilson is incredibly smart, still really, really athletic. I mean, they signed him relatively early in the free agency process. So he was a target. Yeah, they were so darn busy those first 5-6 days in March that maybe the Wilson signing flew under the radar, but they gave him decent money on a 1-year deal. And so that was a specific target that Camus Grugier-Hill last year, hey, helped out on special teams, but just wasn't capable. Those 2 games that Cashman missed, that Lions game, that Rams game in October, the Vikings lose both those games. The Vikings came to the realization that, yes, it's almost inevitable, unfortunately, that Blake Cashman is going to miss some amount of time. Phenomenal player when he's in there, but it's hard to presume 17 games with Blake. So it was a concerted effort to find a better backup. Eric Wilson enters the picture. And he is so smart that, yeah, he can have the green dot. He can be the quarterback on defense. Ivan Pace Jr. at one point got some reps with the green dot. I think it's better for Ivan that he doesn't have the green dot, doesn't need to do all the communicating, can play more free, maybe some less thinking, that it makes logical sense from flow standpoint to have Eric Wilson having that green dot. So yeah, the Vikings feel very confident. Now, I think about Sunday and the idea of containing, I don't think you're stopping Bijan Robinson, but containing Bijan Robinson, they are going to miss Blake Cashman specifically on Sunday. And hey, they'll miss him for the next few weeks because, yeah, I'm telling you, Judd, I don't sense this is just a 2-week setback. Yeah. It's absolutely in play that this could be at least 4 games.
Over to the offensive side again, just kind of circling back to Christian Darrisaw. I totally get not right. If it was a home game and you're not playing on the weird manufactured, last minute Soldier Field turf, I get all of it. So I agree. It makes sense this week, bring him back on Sunday night at home. But it's kind of crazy when you dig into the offensive line metrics from Pro Football Focus. The offensive line did a really good job, save for Justin School, who struggled in pass protection. And Alex Boone on the Trenches episode highlighted 2 or 3 different plays where, yeah, if that's Christian Darrisaw, this play turns out differently. The first couple third downs that wound up being sacks, and then there was another one where Jalen Naylor had to beat his man off the line by 5 yards of separation, and McCarthy just didn't have enough time to step into the throw. So the Vikings offensive line, Doogie, combined gave up only 5 pressures on Monday night. 4 of those 5 pressures were attributed to Justin School, the backup left tackle. So part of this premise of JJ McCarthy is, hey, he gets Darrisaw at left tackle. He gets this revamped offensive line, Justin Jefferson, eventually Jordan Addison. In those first 3 quarters, knocking off the rust, let's not shortchange not having one of the best left tackles in the NFL.
Amen. Yes. And hey, like, school could have been fantastic on Monday. I still think,
Bruce
the
Rust,
idea is
yeah.
let's get Darrisaw in there before having to face Trey Hendrickson, at least, trying to get into their minds a little bit. But sure, that much more urgency after watching school on Monday night. Hey, another guy they targeted. Like, there wasn't interest in bringing back Quessenberry. Like, there was zero interest in bringing back Quessenberry. So they looked at school and said, clear-cut upgrade, backup tackle. Well, at least for 1 week, not so much. I will add on the injury front. So, yeah, Ryan Kelly, toe, Josh Oliver, ankle. So when thinking about blocking, I've not been told to worry about either guy, at least as of yet. I've not been told to worry about either guy when it comes to their availability on Sunday. I will also add, you brought up the name Jalen Naylor. So I asked on Wednesday, KOC, a question about Donovan Jackson, right?
That's right,
31 dropbacks and not one pressure allowed. KOC turned the corner. So it was a specific question about Donovan Jackson. KOC turned the corner to make sure, because the news conference was wrapping up, to give Jalen Naylor all sorts of love. Played 47, 48, 49 snaps. Don't have the snap count in front of me. Yeah, from a box score standpoint, it doesn't jump out. But KOC thought Jalen Naylor had one heck of a game on Monday.
So, Darren, I'll ask you this, because KO now has made it very clear the Doogie days are over. KO called you Darren. It was very nice. And we have now, you're all grown up. So congratulations for that. What was your reaction, especially when O'Connell was asked a couple times about this? Because I thought it was interesting when reporters tried to drill down on the fact that there's been a lot of talk about JJ and like the it factor and in training camp, and he's a mature dude, but we hadn't really seen it. Like, we hadn't seen in a game, when push comes to shove, what happens. And I thought O'Connell's response to those questions was intriguing, because he basically confirmed that. Like, for all the anticipatory, this kid is different, you got to see it. And we saw it on Monday, and I thought O'Connell expounding on that was a really interesting response.
It was, and it was a great question from Kevin Seifert, our mutual friend. I mean, I loved the back and forth there. And hey, like, Phil, I heard Alex Boone on with you the other day. That Boone's like, hey, Jim Harbaugh, my guy. Boone played for Harbaugh with the Niners. That Jim Harbaugh doesn't like single out a lot of individuals. Well, he has signaled out JJ in the past, right? And so Boone's like, hey, if Harbaugh says that JJ is his guy, then hey, JJ is going to be my guy. But there's something to be said about, hey, like, we needed to see it.
Yeah.
We've been told it so often, but we needed to see it. And it doesn't mean it's going to be on display every single week. But we now know, confirmation, it is absolutely there. And the way that his teammates were gushing about him, they gushed about him all throughout training camp. But then in the immediacy after the game on Monday, once again on Wednesday, I don't think it's lip service. I really don't. I'm trained, journalism 101. Why is this person lying to me? Try to read through a lot of BS, some cliche being fed what the team wants these guys to say, but it feels like there's a genuineness when his teammates talk about him. And I'm telling you, like, I'm a skeptic by nature, right? But I truly believe they freaking love that guy. And yeah, I mean, it was absolutely on display. Now, I'm not sure, like, to me, I didn't go up and down the NFC potential offensive players of the week, but
people are mad.
That was a little weird to me. I mean, I'm not sure of all the players that JJ McCarthy,
that rookie receiver in Tampa, caught 2 touchdowns and comeback win.
How about Bijan Robinson, right? I know he didn't do a whole lot in the run game, but just even that touchdown catch, right? I mean, he made that. It was a check down, and he's making guys miss left and right. So what about Bijan? Like, there's all sorts of possibilities. Jalen Hurts, like, I'm not sure that, to me, JJ McCarthy was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. But hey, kudos to him, I guess, for getting that honor.
So the one thing I will say is this, and we've all done this for a long time now, but with McCarthy, going back to training camp too, there is, and this is not to claim I know him as a person, okay, but just as a football player when you watch him, there is an it factor. And as Chip wrote in the Star Tribune today, it's unquantifiable. Like if you ask me, if you put my feet to the fire right now and say, what exactly are you talking about? I can tell you what I think, but I don't know that I can just put my finger on exactly it. But like, I buy this. I buy the fact, and I think the story to me, the third quarter, you're not playing well. Your team's not playing well. You're in Soldier freaking Field. The crowd is going nuts at that time. And you look around that huddle and say, where else would you rather be? That to me is like, because it didn't surprise me. It was a great story, but it didn't surprise me, Phil.
I want to add to that and throw it back to Dukes here. We talked about that it factor, sort of nebulous. How do you define it? What is it on the O-line committee this week with, two guys who played for 16 years in the NFL? Because how would we're not in those locker rooms and those huddles. And what we talked about was, my take was, I think people make a mistake. They think the it factor, Caleb Williams rolls out to the right, sprints physically, avoids the defender, falling out of bounds and zings a pass. And that is it right there. Well, no, that's a freakish physical tool set that manifested for that play. And that was a great play, and it was a first down and everything. But you can't, you're not going to do that 12 times in a 3-hour football game. It might happen once every couple weeks or maybe even once a game. Or the Anthony Richardson back foot 75 yards in the air touchdown pass last year. That's it. That's the it factor. No, that's not the it. I think the it factor, and those guys did agree with me, is much more above the chin strap than below the chin strap. You have to have a certain level of physical tools to play quarterback in the NFL. But the it factor stuff has to do with leadership, overcoming adversity mentally, flushing a really bad first 3 quarters, not getting overwhelmed by external circumstances. All of that stuff above the chin strap is the it factor, in my opinion. And those guys did agree on the O-line committee.
Yes, and hey, you talk about those folks who coach JJ at Nazareth Academy in suburban Chicago, or for the 1 year at IMG, or whether it's Jim Harbaugh, others at the University of Michigan, they will absolutely tell you that. Or Greg Holcomb, his longtime quarterbacks coach going back to 7th grade. These people will absolutely tell you the exact same thing. And hey, I have no idea how to quantify this. On the Justin Jefferson touchdown pass, the Jordan Mason block, right? Does Jordan make that block no matter what? Maybe, probably. I don't know for sure, but who knows? JJ's leadership, his words, picking the right words, doesn't motivate guys that much more. The great Jefferson route after Santos misses the field goal. The Vikings get the ball. The Bears should have been up 20-6. In many ways, a 50-yard field goal these days, even on that crap surface, is usually pretty automatic. Should have been 20-6. Okay, it's 17-6. Vikings get the ball back early fourth quarter. Mason, really nice run. Mason, really nice run. Third play, Justin Jefferson, phenomenal route. Good throw too, but phenomenal route. I don't know. Maybe Jefferson runs that route no matter what. But I'm just saying, it's possible. Those words from JJ just lifted everybody. Yeah. And so, yeah, that is the it factor. And he absolutely has that it factor.
Yeah.
It's also super impressive when you're not playing well to be able to loosen up your teammates and it works. Because, there's a lot of guys that could have gone in there and said, is there any place that you would prefer to be
Shut
right
up,
now?
Rookie.
Yeah. And they'd be like, you're playing like horse bleep, dude. What are you talking
here
about? So, just the fact that they accepted that, those are the type of things that are just, to me, tells. And to play that poorly as a team, offensively at least, for 3 quarters, and to win that game, what was weird was I kept saying to myself, they've got a chance, but there's so many different Vikings teams that wouldn't have won. And here's what I would like to see, not this week, but eventually. Wouldn't you guys love to plant a little bit more of an experienced JJ McCarthy in Ford Field last season for the last regular season game? Because that was a winnable game. It felt like a lost cause because Sam played so poorly and the Vikings were struggling, right? But go back and look at that score. That was not a insurmountable score. And that to me is, because the thing that I loved about Monday night, there were elements, Dukes, to that game that had a January feel. Like there was some playoff type. It wasn't pretty, but playoff games often aren't.
I want you to go the full step on. That's a great take, by the way. If you were to have taken first game in the NFL, JJ McCarthy, and replaced Sam Darnold, who was terrible in that game, do the Vikings beat the Lions?
Can I have Jordan Mason too? Because
And you get Jordan Mason.
Well, and you have Will Fries and Ryan Kelly and
No,
Donovan
we gotta draw.
Jackson.
We gotta draw a line.
No,
Okay,
Jordan
they
Mason.
lose.
So
They lose.
I still
They
have
lose.
Ed Ingram.
No,
No,
Dalton
you got
Reisner.
Dalton Reisner.
Dalton Reisner, your guy. You talk to him like every week. How could
I
you
know,
forget about him?
I know.
But
Hey,
he
you
called
got-
he'll
you
be
got
here next
Bradbury.
week. Yeah, I'm
Bradbury.
excited to see Dalton in a week. Yeah. I mean, you didn't hear me say his name. Yeah. But yes, Reisner and Brandel and Bradbury. So
It's a wrap. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it's fascinating to think
Keeps
about.
him calm.
isn't it?
Keeps him calmer. Sam Darnold
Yeah.
was freaking out, and it was very apparent to
Yeah, he
every
was.
man on
Yeah.
his sideline.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
real quick, I know Doogie's got to run
Very
here,
interesting
and
question. Yeah.
Doogie's got to run in a couple minutes, and I want to throw at least one more thing at him here. So Prize Picks has not fully bought in with this JJ McCarthy number here. 212.5. 212.5 is the passing total for McCarthy. You can pick more or less on that and other players across different sports too. If you want to do a little baseball over here, college football, NFL situation, Prize Picks is a great way to win real money this football season. You select a handful of players between 2 and 6. You pick more or less on their stats, and they offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard for easy withdrawals and payouts. Use the code PURPLEDAILY on the Prize Picks app today and get $50 in lineups when you play 5. Just open this little app right here that I'm showing you guys. Super easy, and you fire that code PURPLEDAILY on Prize Picks to get $50 in lineups when you play just $5. Judd likes hockey. I'm not sure people knew. He has a show called Judd's Hockey Show.
The most original, catchy name of all time.
We're still workshopping that. And there's a big hockey event coming later on this year.
So guess what? Kids get up on Christmas Day and they're excited. They run downstairs. They open presents. Sports Dad's going to sleep in on that day. But you know what he's going to do on Boxing Day, December 26th? He's going to get up with the excitement of a child. And you're asking why? What would make a 55-year-old man excited? 56 by then? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's the World Junior Hockey Championships coming back to our state for the first time since 1982. Grand Casino Arena and 3M at Mariucci as well. This tournament is just a plethora of first-round picks. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best annual tournament in all of sports. So take that NCAA basketball tournament. If you want to get on tickets and the fun, which you should, check out their various packages, ticket packages available. WorldJuniorsMN26.com. That's WorldJuniorsMN26.com. That's why Sports Dad's going to be giddy on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Well, and think about it, Judd. So the day before, Vikings Lions,
This is
U.S. Bank Stadium,
Oh.
Christmas Day afternoon. The
Oh.
excitement of that, then feeding into Boxing Day,
and Wolves.
the start of World Juniors. I'm
Don't
not
forget
sure
Wolves
there will be a
that
better
night.
48-hour sports stretch for you all year.
I might send Dawn and the dogs somewhere else and just say, "Look, I'm clearing these days out."
I think it might be you going somewhere else, but that's totally okay. That's all right.
We'll
That's all right.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Dukes, we brought up Jordan Mason a couple times there. His first game as a Viking gets the 15 carries for 68 yards, 4.5 yards per attempt. I agree with you. Those tone-setting runs and the scheme and the offensive line all played into it there. Really got that drive started. And then that Jefferson route, that was a 3-play sequence. It was like 8-yard chunk, 15-yard chunk, and then they ran play action on the third play, and that helped bring the second layer defense up closer. But as advertised with the breaking of tackles, I mean, that was the reason they brought him in, is this dude has a crazy yards after contact and broken tackle rate in his career. And of all the running backs who carried at least 5 times in week 1, he had the 5th or 6th most yards after contact. Derrick Henry had over 100 yards after contact. But Jordan Mason was like 5th or 6th with 56 yards after contact in that first game. There's definitely still room for Aaron Jones, third downs, even like first and second downs. That wheel route that he ran helped win the game. But I would be very interested. If this was the split, 15 carries for Jordan Mason, 8 for Aaron Jones, and some pass game stuff for Jones, I'm good with this split.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what the split is when Addison is back. How much are you using Jones out wide? But hey, we know Aaron is a pretty darn good pass catcher. I'd be okay with that split. I still think there's another level to Jordan's game. So yeah, you just laid out the numbers, but do you ever feel like how many runs went for nothing or -1, -2? So of his 15 carries, there were like 5 or 6, especially in the first half, that it was maybe at best a 1-yard gain or, just back to the line of scrimmage. Like, I still think there's a little bit more there.
There is.
From Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
And so, you think about the contract they gave him immediately after the trade. I mean, they absolutely believe in him. And I just think, he's one of those guys that, as the game goes on, like I think, as we start to look at numbers, November, December of Jordan Mason's second half, specifically fourth quarter, I think he's going to be later in games super, super pivotal.
Yeah.
He also showed that he has the ability on first or second down to keep you out of third and long, which I think is enormous. And it might not be KO's favorite plan of attack, but just the ability to also pick up chunks of yards to eat clock, which I think is huge. Like that, I come back to that. How do you keep the defense off the field to keep them fresh? I mean, the more that I can keep Allen and Hargrave on the sideline for extended times, the better. So I love this because it just feels like it's been so long since we've seen a guy like this, just a hoss, go out there and eat up yards and eat up clock. And it gives you such a benefit, I think, basically defensively as well.
And he can catch the ball. I'm not suggesting he's going to finish the year with
You're right.
45-something catches, right? But he's capable. Like, it's not impossible. By the way, Jonathan Allen told me in the locker room on Wednesday, like, he sort of knew Levi Drake Rodriguez, Jalen Redmond could play, but he's like, those dudes are starters. Like, I get it. It's just JA talking, me and Hargrave are the starters, but like, we look at those two guys, they're starters. Like, they would start for other teams. And so JA was just overly impressed with the depth they have interior of the defensive line, even after the Harrison Phillips trade.
He is Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. Information, speculation about the Minnesota Vikings, Doogs. Good stuff. I know you got to get going. You got other things to cover, places to be, an A job to tend to. So we'll do it again next week.
I love it, Phil. One other note, had a nice conversation with Miles Price on Wednesday. He was still incredibly giddy. Just the smile.
He should be,
on
man.
his
That was a
face.
great debut.
He said he came out of the tunnel pregame, and he starts looking around, right? And again, I'm trying to think, is this just player speak? But he's like, it really hit me. Like, he's looking around Soldier Field, and he's like, this is my job? Like, I get paid to do this? And,
like me?
Yeah, it was so much fun talking to Miles Price on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Good
That's
dude.
cool, man. What a cool story. Yeah, he had a nice little debut. Locker room loves him. All right, Dukes. We'll talk to you next Tuesday, man.
Sounds good. We'll talk next week. Take it easy.
And also for the audience, be on the lookout for the Thursday episode where we will welcome the aforementioned Greg Holcomb, JJ McCarthy's private quarterback coach, going back about 10 years, 8-10 years to the show. This is Purple Daily, 365 days a year of Vikings takes.